Happy FM presents A Curran Affair with Ian Wright.
Greetings, Ian Wright here from 90.1 Happy FM. Well, Channel 9 has a current affair. Here at the Happy, we have a Curran Affair this afternoon. You like that, Julie?
I love that.
What do you reckon, Kev?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Okay. My great pleasure to introduce a couple of people who have a long history in sport in the local area and a long history in the world of Happy FM. Julie Curran to my right. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you.
Kevin to my left. I know you.
Yeah.
We talk on a regular basis on the weekend with the footy. We catch up face to face and talk on the radio. We just thought for our website, under the Achievers banner, it was a fitting time to have a talk to Kev and also Julie, because Julie's had a mighty influence and been a mighty force behind Kev and his sporting career. So just to find out a bit more about them. So Julie, I've done a bit of research already. You two met because of, was it the old PMG, is that right?
The old PMG, that's right, yes.
Now, where was this?
We met at Yankalilla in 1966.
Right.
Just by coincidence. I was transferred from Victor Harbour when it went automatic. I was a telephonist.
Yep.
Transferred to Yankalilla, and I started at the end of June. And as would be, Kevin had been transferred from Adelaide to Yankalilla on Anzac Day in April, and so that was the first meeting, was the end of June. But we didn't start going out straight away. Yeah.
So, without dating you, roughly how many years ago are we talking, Julie? Roughly. Ballpark.
1966.
66. It was a good year for music and a good year for the Currans, obviously. So, Kev, what were your first thoughts of Julie? Was it like instant attraction, or did she grow on you?
I was only going to bring a photo of her from that time. And,
Yeah?
Oh God, yeah, she was...
A bit of a stunner?
She's a bit of a stunner.
Well, she still is.
Yeah.
50 days.
Now, so back in the day, now, as I said, you both had a very long association with sport. Were you into sport in your family, Julie, from a very early age?
Well, yes, no, because Mum played a little bit of tennis. Dad was not sporty at all. He played a tiny bit of tennis in Back Valley, no competition in those days, but really they didn't play much sport at all.
Right.
But they were very involved with the football club. First of all, the Valleys in 1947 when it was formed, and Dad was the secretary, and then they moved to, when they amalgamated with Encounter Bay in 1954, Dad became the secretary there. So Dad was always involved in administrative ways, but and Mum helped at the football club from then on, doing the afternoon teas and catering and doing things from then on, and the family grew up with football.
I've got to tell you, Julie, 1954 was a very good year.
Yeah.
I was born. Yeah, I was born. So of all the kids, were you sort of the leading one in terms of embracing sport and taking up sport?
I'm probably the main one that played sport. My two sisters played very little bit of tennis in their teenage years, and my brother did too, but Gary was involved with the football club right from an early age, but not as a player, as an administrator.
Right.
Secretary for many years after Dad, and not straight after Dad, but my other two, one sister moved away and got married, and my other sister, my older sister, she married Alan Crispin, who played for Encounter Bay in the 60s. And then became a trainer. So the family have always been involved with football, with the Encounter Bay Football Club.
If I'm right, your maiden name was Roberts?
I was, yes.
You were?
Yes.
Okay. What was your maiden name, Kev?
Same now, haven't changed.
Hasn't changed. Okay, so yourself, Kev, when did your love of sport happen? A very early age, or were you a late starter?
No, very early age, really, Ian. When I went to school, our school back fence and our back fence where we lived were the back fence for each of it.
Yeah. So
consequently, there was a big area where we could go and play football, play cricket, play a bit of tennis, play whatever you like.
Yeah.
There, so because it was there, I thought, well, why not play sport?
Yeah.
And that's what I did. My father did a little bit, not much. My mother didn't do any. So
you got into footy, tennis, and cricket?
Bit of cricket, yeah.
Your favourite was?
Probably football.
Close tennis close by?
Yeah, well, see, in those days there wasn't that many tennis courts around.
Right.
I'm talking about 1955, 56.
That wasn't about you.
Yeah, no, again, that was a
Close.
good year. But it was just one of those things that you did. Most of the kids, because you could get a football pretty easy, it was easy to get out and have a game of football.
Yeah. 44 years as secretary of the Great Southern Footy League. You retired a year or so ago. How much of that longevity and success do you attribute to this lady backing you?
Probably nearly all of it, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have been doing any of it.
Yeah.
You can't, because you've got to have some backing.
Yeah, that's true. And you mentioned the administration side earlier, Julie, with your dad and the family. It's one thing to be out there having fun, playing footy, cricket, tennis, whatever, but you need the people behind the scenes to bring it all together.
True.
That's the backbone,
true.
isn't it?
That is true. The clubs can't exist without administration.
Yeah. How do you see the situation today? Both of you are volunteers. It's a real challenge, isn't it, for all sports?
It's harder. It gets harder to get volunteers. A lot of volunteers these days are older people that are retired.
Yeah.
You do want the younger ones to be involved. We were always involved right from the time we had children. I was always still stayed involved with everything that they did.
Yeah.
But it's harder with both. I guess
both
these
parents
days
working.
both parents are working. Harder life has changed a lot. And a lot more pressures on everybody to do things that seemed to be simple in our day. We just went with the kids, did our things, played sport. We both played a lot of sport. All our lives, really. I didn't play sport much until I was 12.
And of course, sport brings people together. You make some lifelong friendships as a result of it.
Always. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And the volunteer side's the same with us in community radio. It is harder and harder to get volunteers, and we're all getting older, so we encourage people who may be viewing this, if you're looking at community radio as a communication piece, let's know about it. Talk to us. You don't have to be on air necessarily, but many people choose to be, so it's a challenge getting those people.
Always, yes.
Yeah.
If you find good volunteers, stick to them.
Now, you mentioned kids, and back to you, Kev. You've got 2 boys?
2 boys and a girl.
Oh, and the girl?
And the girl.
I don't know.
Better mention the girl.
Okay. and what do they do in life? What are their careers?
Well, I'll let Julie tell you that.
Well, the kids were always involved with sport and things growing up, but Ian is in. He works in Revenue SA, and he's in the health department now doing something.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is.
He just turns up.
He does. Obviously, he was in the bank for in the Bank SA, and then St George, and then Westpac, and then when the Westpac went to Sydney, all his section were retrenched, and he actually got a job with Revenue SA, and he's been there, and he does various secondments. Yeah, he's very, and Sonia's a nurse. Sonia's been a nurse, for probably 20 years now. Yeah,
and of course Ian does his football umpiring.
And Ian's a football umpire as well. Both Ian and David are football umpires, and David's with ANZ Bank. And he's been with that for 20, must be getting close to 30 years now, 28 years, something like that. So
excellent. Now, Kevin Curran, OAM. Did Julie get one?
Not yet.
Why not? Why, Julie?
She probably deserves it. She probably deserves it more than I do, because she's the one that's had to do all the work that no one sees, really.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's been one of the problems with these things. And a lot of the time, the people that make the biggest noise sometimes get those type of accolades, and the ones that don't. You see a lot of that with football clubs. They're the blokes that are out there doing all the hard work, emptying the bins, doing all those sort of things. They don't get anything.
Yeah. I do the bins here.
Yeah, do you? I do. You're getting something.
It's part of the gig.
I don't think anyone would say you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
You
No,
do
no.
deserve it.
Well, I think from what I know about the background of you, Kevin, we met years ago in the old 5MU days.
We did, yeah.
You know, you were behind him then. Tell me, Julie, about the score service. Kevin would be on 5MU and you'd be rattling around getting scores, not just for the radio, but some of the papers as well.
I used to when he was first secretary, we used to put them in the Sunday Mail every week, and it was he was still umpiring at that stage, and he would go off umpiring, and I'd take the kids to football or whatever. But I'd come home after as soon as football finished, and they'd all ring the scores into me.
Yeah.
And I'd write them down by hand, of course, and then I'd ring the Sunday Mail by 6:30 or 7 o'clock. You had to ring the Sunday Mail to get the scores in for the next day. We did that for quite a few years. I can't remember how many, but a lot of years.
And that's a lot of scores, a lot of writing.
And then Kevin would
There's
have
a lot of writing, because you had to do it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Bring up 5MU with it afterwards.
Yeah.
Kevin did the 5MU bit. That was his department. I'd just give him the scores.
So here we are recording this in 2023. What sort of sport are you involved with now, Julie, and in what capacity?
Probably, I'd have to say tennis. Tennis is the biggest sport I'm involved with. Out at the Back Valley Tennis Club.
You still play?
I still try and play the odd set every week. And we play out there socially, Tuesdays, Fridays, and they play Saturday as well. But I go to football on Saturday, and I was secretary out there for 9 years, from 1985 to 94, and I've been president out there since 2001.
And you still enjoy it, obviously.
Until now, currently.
Currently, netball. You're still involved with netball?
I haven't been involved with netball for quite a while. I started playing netball when I was 12. Netball was only just starting in those days, in the late 50s, right. And I played netball before the clubrooms were built down there. I suppose my claim to fame would be I played in Encounter Bay's first A-grade premiership team in 1970. And I think they've only won 2 or maybe 3. They won another one in the 90s.
They're missing you, Julie, they're missing you.
But I had to give up. I stopped playing when I was about 28. I think Ian was a little one, and I had quite an injury on my ankle out of playing at Mount Compass, and I came down and tore all the ligaments, and I never actually played another game. I had it x-rayed and stayed out for a while, but I couldn't come back. These days, with all the treatments, I would have been able to get going again.
It's all changed, and it's amazing what they can do and how quickly they can do it for the athletes.
True. So
it's messed the hip up with it, because she's had a hip replacement.
I don't know whether it was caused from that, but I still like the Encounter Bay Netball Club. And I'd love to see them. I'd like to see them doing well, but I haven't been physically involved with them. Really, for quite a few years, I just keep an eye on what's happening.
Could you have imagined, as we speak, could you have imagined back in the day, as the situation is now, with ladies playing football as they do now in the Great Southern Footy League, the women and the AFL, etc.?
I never ever really thought that would happen.
Probably never thought of it, period.
It wasn't even a consideration.
Yeah.
No.
And your thoughts?
No, I wouldn't have played.
No,
but not for me. I decided that football. I love watching it.
Yeah.
And for those that enjoy it, I think it's good on them, and I hope they all do well. But I couldn't see myself as a footballer.
Okay.
She was a rough, tough full-back in netball, though.
In netball?
I did play goalkeeper.
Ever played ice hockey? That's tough.
I don't even show a bit of, I don't know if I'll get away with that now.
Yeah. Now, Kev, we've mentioned football, of course, cricket. You ever been a bowler?
For bowls?
Bowls. You play bowls?
I played night bowls about 3 times.
So you weren't real good at it?
Well,
you gave up too early.
I gave up too early. Just started to hit the straps.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I've had a couple of social games of bowls, and it's okay.
Yeah.
What I did enjoy, ever done 10-pin bowling in your time?
Very little. I know.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No,
I used to do a lot of it now, though.
Kevin did it.
I enjoyed it. I've done it for yonks, but great game.
Yeah.
Good fun
I
inside.
reckon the first game you play after a long break, you do okay. After that, it's like golf.
That's
Takes a long
gotta say that's like golf. Yeah, amazing. Now, what I should mention, I mentioned the OAM, and obviously congratulations in a belated fashion, Kevin, but you're both in the Hall of Fame. Recently put into the Great Southern Footy League Hall of Fame. What did that mean to you, Julie?
I consider it to be a great honour. I wasn't expecting it.
Complete surprise?
It was. I was very surprised. Very surprised. Very humbling. That is.
Yeah.
All the work, the things that you do, you don't ever think of any rewards at the end of it. You do it because you want to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm very honoured.
As you should be. And I think of the 42, I think it was, thereabouts, people inducted into the Hall of Fame. There were about 3 or 4 ladies. Is that about right?
Yes, 3. I think there was at least 2 others. I think that I can think of.
Yeah. Well, 2 plus 1 is 3.
3. Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. And Kev, you're obviously honoured to be in there as well.
Oh yes, I mean, as you say, you do it because that's a job that you're doing,
Yeah.
and these things come along. Well, it's nice to have them.
Yeah. Okay. Now you've been calling footy on Happy FM, Great Southern Radio, since 1994. Day one up in that Brown Hill, wasn't it? The location.
Browns Hill, yes.
And of course the studio back then, the whole operation from day one initially was a caravan on the hill.
Caravan on the hill.
A lone brick mobile phone for the local taxi drivers. Yeah, Julie knows all about that. And pretty dark and cold up there at night time.
It was the darkest place I've ever been to. Up there, and I suppose what you're coming along to ask is...
You're going to tell me anyhow.
Yeah, man, Julie was up there with me on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
I think it was about the first Saturday night we ever went up there, but we used to broadcast the football into a mobile phone.
A brick.
A brick,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
mobile phone weighed about a tonne.
Yeah, like a mighty piece of brick.
Yeah, but anyway, you had to sit up in this caravan up on top of Browns Hill, I think it was called at that stage.
Brown Hill, yeah.
And they said you can't knock off before 11:45.
Yeah.
And so Julie came up and thought, oh God, this is going to be a long stint. It was about 7 o'clock, I think. I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to fill in the rest of the night? And Julie said, well, what if someone else turns up? And I said,
You're thinking it's Buckley's show.
she said, well, no one's going to turn up. I said, I can tell you that. There'll be no one else here. And she said, oh, well, that's all right. If no one turns up, it should be okay. So things are going along, and it must have been about 10, 11 o'clock. The door opened. Julie screams out and says, "Whoa, what's going on?" It was a taxi driver come to get his phone.
I think I told you the other day, that reminds me of a story similar, back in the day of bricks, before they had mobile phones. Peter Toot Motors, etc., who's still with us. Peter would go to the local Victor Cinema with his wife to see a movie, and if there was an urgent RAA call out, people knew to ring the theatre. Somehow they knew he was there, and they'd flash it up on the screen, RAA service required. He'd have to nick off, and then when he finally got home, his wife would fill in the details of the movie. So, some funny stories over the years. But so calling footy on Happy FM, Great Southern Radio since 1994, that's a great effort, great stint. Of course, your partner in crime these days is Trevor Pryor, good mate with
Trevor Pryor, yeah. And another funny story about Julie and Trevor Pryor. She knows him pretty well.
Here we go. Yeah.
When we were going out together on a Saturday night, Trevor had come
You and Trevor?
No, yeah,
Julie,
and I,
right.
then, Trevor some of the time.
Yeah.
Because at Yak, the night boy, he had a bed. If you're on late shift, you get the bed down and make it.
Not too much detail there, Julie, please. This is a family show.
You didn't have to, but yeah. So that's a standing joke, because I used to, when Trevor was on night shift, he would come in and I'd have his bed down before I left.
Well, you've been mates for a long time, yourself and Trev. He's a good man. He's part of our commentary team. So what are your plans for the future? You going to give this up one day and do some travel, or what do you want to do?
Well, she keeps telling me that it's time we gave it up, but
That's you he's talking about. Yeah.
but I hear from you that we've got no one else to do it.
You blame me.
So it's your fault, I think.
I like him have the interest. Yeah, I'd like him to have a couple of weeks off here and there so that we can go away somewhere for just
Well,
for a
as
couple
Kevin
of
knows,
weeks.
we are working on it, and that's the thing. It is hard
Yeah.
getting, as we said, volunteers. It's even harder when it's a specialist sort of thing, like calling the footy or somebody presenting a jazz program. You've got to have the passion, the knowledge,
That's right.
and the skill, and that's not easy to find. So we're working on it. We don't want to burn you out, Kev,
No, well, it's not something that's burning me out.
and I don't want to wreck your marriage after all these
That's probably
years.
what it's doing at the moment.
So how many years married now, Julie?
53.
53.
53, yeah.
You
Oh,
deserve
gosh.
another medal.
I'll agree with that.
Well, it's been terrific talking to you today on our website here at Happy FM. Our website is evolving, and this particular chat will go under the Achievers tab there. And you're in good company because the late Ken Burgess, who you were with from day one, who established the radio station, there's a tribute and a video of Ken there in the Ken Burgess studio across in Victor Central Shopping Centre. Bruce Goddard at Goolwa, the Bruce Goddard studio, that is there. And now we've got the real pleasure to add a Curran Affair. Kevin and Julie Curran to the Achievers. You've deserved it, and on behalf of everybody at 90.1 Happy FM, both the radio audience and the YouTube audience with the footy as well, thank you, and we wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you, Ian.
Thanks, Ian. Yeah,
Thanks for your time.
very good.